What's up, everybody? I'm your host, RotKorpse.
And I'm Rich.
And this is Morbid Curator Podcast. On this episode, we're going to be talking about our top 10 Brutal Slam albums. And before we get to that, I just want to let everybody know you can follow Morbid Curator Podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, Facebook. We have a TikTok that you can follow. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Any type of engagement with us is great. If you want to comment, let us know how you feel about the episodes. Let us know what we can do better and just what you feel about it. Before we get to our top 10 Brutal Slam albums, me and my dad went to our first all Slam lineup.
Yep.
The Slam Tour of the Year, Ingesting North America.
Yep, and it was.
Yeah.
It was it did not disappoint.
No, it was funny when we went there. It was at No Class in Cleveland, Ohio. And it was the smallest venue I have ever been to. And when we first got there, I was like, dude, how is this even gonna it was a sold out show. That's the other thing. Most of the shows sold out.
Sold out, yeah. Yeah.
But when we got in there, it was, man, I don't know the dimensions, but I mean, it was small.
Yeah, it was small. For me too, it's the smallest place I've ever seen. I mean, there's literally no stage. I mean, the band was like really on top of each other.
Yeah, just like on top of the speakers, basically.
Yeah.
It was
there's
real
like
crowded.
No room to do shit,
Yeah. And so at first I was like, damn, this is, might be kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
But dude, it was the greatest show that I've gone to. And I thought that the Aborted and Ingested show that we went to a while back was going to be the greatest, but this is by far my favorite, I think.
I totally agree. Yeah, this one really stands out. Perfect lineup,
Yeah. Ingested, Devourment,
mm-hmm.
The classic Brutal Slam Devourment. I mean, you can't go wrong with them.
Yeah.
Extermination, Dismemberment, and Organectomy. But we also got hip to a new band that I don't know how new they are, but to us they're very new. We never heard them before. Vomit Forth.
Yeah.
And
they were good.
Yeah. If you guys are into Brutal Slam, obviously if you're listening to this episode, you probably are. Go check out Vomit Forth. They're brutal as fuck, man. They were.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was such a great show, and I don't know about you, but I know Devourment was. It was one of my points that I really wanted to see them and everything, and they did not disappoint and stuff. But I was really impressed with Extermination. Dude, I was really into that.
Nothing but fucking slams, dude.
And just their their stage presence and everything else. I mean, it was brutal.
It was brutal. And
I forget where they hail from,
or it's actually Belarus, which I don't know. That might be like but yeah, they came all the way from overseas, and so did Organectomy.
And they're the first times in the States.
Yeah, first time in the States.
Awesome.
That's an awesome opportunity for us.
Yeah. To
be able to see these bands that we've been wanting to see for a long time, and they come all the way over here, and we got to see them, and they put on a great show. We, as the fans, we were engaging in pits big time. I mean, there was 2 different Wall of Deaths between. I think Vomit Forth started the Wall of Deaths.
Yeah,
and like I said, it was a very small venue. So literally they split it all the way down the middle, completely from the front of the venue to the back. Everybody was on either sides, and pretty much you were forced into the Wall of Death, and then it just was a huge pit afterwards. Like the whole place was a pit because everybody was, and that really, Organectomy played first, which is another cool thing because we seen them when we first got there. We saw them rehearsing, and it was just sounding brutal. I mean, it was just we weren't even in the place, and we heard him. We could see him too because the doors were open.
The doors were open. It was so small. I mean, you could literally just like look in the door, and you could see the whole stage and everything because it was just
it was like a bar, just like a small bar, really.
Yeah. And it was kind of cool because when we first got there, all the band member from all the bands, they're all sitting outside and just, kind of relaxing
all their
before the show
tour
starts.
vans were out front, and they were just walking around. It was really cool. And yeah, dude, because the place was so small, the pits were like crazy, man. Everybody was in the pit. It was just a huge. And I was surprised that there wasn't a whole lot of crowd killing, and I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
There was a little bit, but not enough to kind of make me feel any type of way about it,
Right.
So, and everybody was respectful in the pit. It was very clean pit.
Yeah, because I really didn't know what to expect because I had never even been to a Brutal Slam show like that, and I figured it'd be some hardcore shit going on, but dude, it was great.
The only downside about this whole entire night was that Devourment only had 2 CDs on their merch table. That sucked.
Yeah, that's my only disappointment. I would have loved to walk away with a Devourment shirt or something. You know? I don't even own a Devourment shirt. I know you do, but I was really hoping to pick up one, and I like to get shirts on tour because they're usually unique, and
definitely.
You can't get them like from indie merch or whatever that.
Which, shout out to indie merch if you guys are hardcore metal fans in general. Check out indie merch. They got all kinds of merchandise on there: shirts, hats, patches, pins, stickers. I mean,
all kinds of.
And they ship out pretty quick. So between them and Merch Now is another good one that you could go to and get your merch at if you guys don't go to shows regularly.
I just got my Dying Fetus shirt from Merch Now.
So that was badass. There was a lot of cool shirts that people had on too at the concert. They had like the one you have on and stuff.
And I was wearing a skinless shirt, and I seen quite a few guys with skinless shirts on.
I was wearing a Cerebral Incubation, and man, it was a badass show, just hands down. And it wasn't a far drive; it was only an hour from us. It was awesome, great. And the cool thing about this venue too is you could leave. In between sets, you could like walk to your car, put merch in your car, go get a drink, whatever you.
Yeah, it was really, really cool that you could do that because it was hotter than hell in that.
Dude, I was sweating
like 200
balls, man.
degrees, man.
Yeah, it was weird, man. I'm like, it was so packed in there. We're in there like sardines, and I'm sweating like a fucking motherfucker, and my arms are like rubbing up against other people's and shit. It just felt weird as hell, But that's what you get when you go into these things, You just gotta. It's just how it is. But yeah, man. Speaking of fucking brutal death metal, Brutal Slam, our top 10 albums. How hard was it for you to come up with these?
I don't. It wasn't as hard as it was for the death metal list that we did. But it was really kind of hard to find information about these. Because there a lot of these slam bands aren't even on on Wikipedia or anything else like that. So it's hard to look up stuff on that, and
they're so underground. And that it's death metal alone is something that people don't really follow as much, or it's not mainstream. So like Brutal Slam is just like off the fucking charts. Nobody. I show people this shit and they're like, "What the fuck?"
Right. Yeah. Because and a lot of it's overseas too, and you just there's.
That's why it's our first.
Time, and I hope I don't butcher up some of these names.
Oh, but, for sure. Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. Sorry if we butcher the names, because it's hard to pronounce a lot of them.
Right.
But that's why, we've been doing this for years, going to concerts and, just going to shows that we've we've been going for 7-8 years or whatever. This is our first
Brutal
Slam. You know,
Yeah.
it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
The only band that we did see that was Brutal Slam was Visceral Disgorge,
Yep.
and they were with a bunch of death metal bands.
And it was a last minute fill in.
Yep.
For them.
Yep. So it was a really great opportunity. I'm super stoked that we got to do this. Hopefully they come back around. I mean, they sold out all the shows.
Yeah.
So hopefully they come back.
I hope that shows, like, you know, proves, you know, to the managers or whatever, the people who book this stuff, that hey, we want to see this shit, you know.
Yeah, and I've seen nothing but, you know, positivity and great things from the bands, like on Facebook and stuff.
Yeah.
We know they're like, thank you, America, thank you for putting, you know, participating in the pits and just going wild. I think it was Extermination Dismember. They were like, man, this was the wildest tour that we've done. You know, and that's awesome because most people dig that shit more overseas, you know, like, so it was really cool hearing that from them and stuff. So, but yeah, man, we'll just jump right into it. What's your 10th one? We're gonna go from 10 to 1 like we did for our death metal top 10. So, what would be your 10th?
My number 10 is Cranial Osteotomy.
Great band.
It's their two Victim of Wicked Sickness.
Hell yeah.
And it's their 2011 first studio album and only album.
Yeah.
They came out with a bunch of demos and everything, but this is actually their only album.
Yeah.
And I really love, you know, they're from Russia.
Yeah.
Vod or Vade, whatever his name is, the vocalist, he's got what I call like bullfrog vocals.
Yeah.
Like it's just sick as fuck, you know.
Super fucking brutal.
Yeah. Some of the tracks that I liked, Decayed Wounds, Oppressing of Mentality, Perverted in Cruel Form Surgery, Painful Erection, Clitoris. You know, it's some badass shit.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So yeah, that's my number 10.
Yeah, that's a great band. They didn't make my list, but they should have been on there, man. That's just like that death metal stuff, the death metal top 10 that we did. It's just, there's so many of these damn bands that it's hard to narrow it down to 10.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Yeah, man. My 10th one is Amagordas.
Oh yeah.
The Intrinsic Indecency came out in 2020 or 2010. I'm sorry. They formed in 2001. They're actually split up right now. They're from Switzerland. Anything that's like overseas, man, they're over the top brutal. You know, like if they're from overseas, they're probably one of the most brutal bands. You know, most the ones I've seen anyway or heard. They have like the cool intros and stuff. You know, one of the intros is like this woman. She's like, "I'm so thankful for you, Arthur," and then he's like, "Shut up, cunt." And then it goes into like a badass breakdown. You know.
Yeah.
It's super badass, and the cover. There's a lot going on with the cover. It's I don't know if you remember it or not. It's kind of funny because I ended up getting like 10 copies of this.
Yeah.
Because I bought it on eBay.
Yeah.
And somehow, like, I don't know, I don't think I bought it in a bulk or anything, and I just got 10 of them. So I gave you a couple, you know, I kept some or whatever. But the cover, it's like a trashed house, and it's got this dude ejaculating under a table on these porno mags, and there's like drugs, and there's just trash everywhere. There's like this fat woman sitting on the couch watching TV. She's butt naked. You know, it's a pretty brutal, and if you look closely to it, there in the background there's two bodies like hanging upside down in the doorway, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, man, this album, there's just so many, the songs are like every song on it's badass. You know, Anal Apoptosis, I think is how it is. Lacerate, Sever, Burn, Drenched in Diarrhea, If You Can Fuck It, Duck It.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many great songs on here, and it's just you can't go wrong with the Brutal Slam, man. It's just so. A lot of people will hate on this stuff because it all sounds the same to them or whatever, you know.
Well, a lot of people say that about death metal too.
Yeah,
you know, it just all sounds the same.
But with slam, it's a little bit more like, you know, all right, you know, a little bit, but it doesn't bother. Like, it's just all brutal. It's just there's no points where it's not like hard as fuck. You know, it's just it's so. That's why this is my favorite genre of music. It's just so balls to the wall, disgusting, vile. You know, it's just. But yeah, man, that was my number 10, and they're just. It's a great band. They would have went a little bit further down the list, I think, but you know, I had to stick with, you know, number 10. So
right, yeah, and that's a great band. It, you know, they didn't make my list either, but it's then, you know, I think 10 is listed like too short. We would have had. It's the same thing with our death metal list. We could have done a 50, you know, and we would have been here all damn day, you know,
right?
doing it and stuff. But number 9 for me was Craniotomy. Overgorged flesh flies dying slowly.
Oh yeah, great album.
I love this album. That, you know, awesome album cover too. You know, it's got the chick. She's got her throat cut. You know, the guy dude's behind her has the knife and everything. And it's their 2015 fifth studio album. It's just a lot of tracks. The thing I like about this album is most of the tracks on here are slow, sick riffs that are just fucking sick as fuck. You know, it's that slow, like
groovy type stuff.
Yeah. And most of the whole album is that way. This is some of my favorite tracks on here are Butcher's Flies Are Beautifully Butterflies. I mean, some of these, and what kills me too is like these song titles are like pretty long, like you know, for like a song. But Delicacy of Bone Marrow and Dissolution Skin, Malevolent Traces, Fall of Disgust, and Fear, Saw, and Soil. You know, it's like big, huge, long. But those the track. That's what I love about this album. You know, if you want to just have, you know, listen to something that's just slow and just sick as fuck, you know, it's just this is the album, you know.
Definitely.
And that's my number 9.
Awesome, dude. My number 9 is Velvectomy, Post-Abortion Slutfuck.
Oh yeah.
It came out in 2020, or fuck, why do I keep saying that? 2010. The band formed in 2007. They're from Italy. So it's, you know, another brutal ass. The cover is a dude who's like fucking a lower half of a woman, and you can see like her intestines coming out of where her like waist would be, and he's got like a fetus hanging from an umbilical cord in one hand, and then he's got a knife like through her top half mouth. She's like stuck to the wall. The knife's going through her mouth and out her eye. And so, like, it's just, you know, these covers are just so awesome, brutal, and just gory, and, you know, fucked up. I mean, Post-Abortion Slutfuck. I mean, that's the name of the album. You know? I wouldn't think anything different, you know. And the vocals are Diego Finelli, and the dude is just, he does some shit with his voice that it's like, how do you even do that? You know, like, which most of these bands, their vocalists are like that. It's just incredible what they can do and how they manipulate their voice into different sounds and shit like that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, man, that's my number 9.
That's awesome. Number 8 for me, it was Parasitic Ejaculation.
Oh, dude,
See,
I didn't put that on my fucking list. Damn it.
Sickening Conduct, and it's not even a studio album. It's an EP,
Mm-hmm.
and for some reason, it is just. I mean, their first studio album. The EP, Sickening Conduct, came out in 2012. Their first album came out in 2013. Rationing the Sacred Human Remains, and which is a good album too.
Yeah.
But I just love the EP. It was more, you got the trash can.
Yeah.
It sounded more. It was more slam than, like their studio albums kind of sounded brutal death metal kind of thing. I mean, it's still but to me that EP just really sounded more brutal slam. Um, some of the tracks, Rape, Lobotomy, Neoplastic, Arousal, Expelli, Urethral Vomit, and it's just like I said, it's just, it really, I don't know if it sounded like old school slam, like it was just, I guess it kind of, to me, it sounds like it's not like sort of like what Mortician was, not produced. It was just kind of raw and just. I mean, to me, it was like just brutal slam at its finest.
Yeah. That's one regret I have, is not putting them on my top 10, because I love Parasitic Ejaculation. I can't even believe I didn't even put that on my damn list. But that's awesome, man.
Yeah, and this is so cool because I'm excited about this, because we're finding out like totally like, I think we're going both ways here. I say a band and you're like, oh shit, that should have been on my list, and I'm saying the same thing. You're
that's what's fun about this is it's cool. Learning what your top 10 is, it's just, and seeing the difference between, if we have the same bands, if we don't,
and I think this is more, I mean, the brutal slam is even more interesting because it's, I think we love all these bands that we even, that we even talk about and discuss, but, and a lot of it, we just, it should have made our top 10, but it didn't because there's not enough room.
Yeah.
And, it's just like,
it's an awesome experience. That's why I love doing this stuff, man. That was your number 8, right?
Yep.
My 8 is Gorgasm.
Oh, hell yeah.
Masticate to Dominate. Came out in 2003. The band formed in 1994. They're from Lafayette, Indiana, which isn't too far from here.
Yep.
My favorite songs on there are Anal Skewer, Stitched Oral of Asphyxia, Lacerated Masturbation, and Dead Fuck. The cover, I actually have this sweatshirt, this Gorgasm sweatshirt.
Yep.
It's where the dude is laying on his back and you can see his dick and everything, and he's ejaculating blood while a gutted woman is above him, like hanging from the ceiling, like chained up to the ceiling, and she's gutted, and her like intestines and blood and everything's just kind of pouring on him.
Yeah,
it's a brutal ass cover, and it's got that whole scene on the back of the sweatshirt, so it's really awesome.
Yeah,
I for some reason nobody ever says shit to me about the stuff that I wear, and if they did, fuck them. But
yeah, you're right, exactly.
I walk around fucking Walmart with that shit on. I don't give a fuck. So
that's kind of funny because I was in Walmart today and I had on my Defend Death Metal. It's a Carnifex shirt. It says Carnifex, but in big, it says just Defend Death Metal. And some woman's walking by me and she was like, "Oh, nice shirt." And I was like, "Okay."
Right.
Like I didn't know, okay, are you being sarcastic, or
yeah, right.
do you really mean it, or whatever?
You're right.
She didn't say
You're like,
anything.
thanks.
Yeah, thanks, I
Do
guess.
you even know what death metal means?
Right,
So.
right.
But yeah, man, that's my number 8. I thought, I've listened to them for a long time, bought some of their merch and stuff from Indie Merch.
Yep.
And they definitely needed to be on the list.
Yeah,
so.
and it's it should have made my list too, and it didn't. It's like, God, man, it's just, yeah, to come up with 10, it's like, yeah, we could, easily do 50.
Oh yeah.
If we did that, we'd probably have a lot more that were the same.
For sure.
Thing. But number 7 for me was Lividity, Till Only the Sick Remains.
Hell yeah.
It's their 4th album, 2002. Great album. You talk about love, about the way the covers are and stuff like this, and Lividity is like famous for some fucked up shit on their covers, and this is no difference. I mean, it's a lot of them are just, you like, even like on Apple Music, what I have and stuff like that, they don't even show the cover on there. It's like censored and stuff like that half the time. So but yeah, the brutal, the songs on here are just right off the rip. TLC, tight little cunt. Coated with my semen. I mean, these are some of my favorite. Fetal Scabs is one of my favorite ones on that. Conception Through Ingestion is another one on there. And Matt Bishop, the vocalist, I love it. He's got that barking vocals, and I love that.
Yeah, that's badass, dude.
Yeah, great album. So that's my number 7.
My number 7 is Abominable Putridity.
Oh yeah.
In the End of Human Existence. Came out in 2007. The band formed in 2003. They're from Russia. And the vocalist is Matty Way, and he is fucking badass, man. This is one of the most badass albums in Brutal Slam, I think. Yeah. It's some of the songs that I like are Intracranial Parasite, Blindfold Surgery, Sick and Removal, Throat Fisting Abortion. I mean, there's just, the whole album itself is just something you can play all fucking day and just keep playing it, and it never gets old to me.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's just a super, I mean, the riffs are fucking amazing. It's got that classic slam sound to it and everything like that. So yeah, man, that's my number 7.
Yeah, another great album. So number 6 for me is Amputated.
Hell yeah.
Gargling with Infected Semen.
Yeah, Amputated, man.
Hell I love this album. It's 2006, first studio album. I'm going to say something more about this album, but some of the tracks, Anally Disemboweled, Raped with a Jackhammer, Minstrel Cunt Fart.
Yep.
Fucking great shit.
That's some classic OG slam.
Oh yeah.
Right there.
Oh yeah, definitely. And something exciting happened to me when I was just on eBay looking around and everything, and some dude had this album signed by the whole band and everything. So I thought, yeah, cool,
Yeah.
And I didn't have the CD, so I bought it and everything, and it came in, and
I remember.
You remember it. I was working at the time, and I was away from my phone, and for like 15-20 minutes or something like that, and I come back, and you blew up my phone, and I'm like, oh shit, something's wrong or something like that. So I get on the phone and talk to you, and you tell me.
Yeah, I there was a note with it and everything, because you
Uh-huh.
you had me I think you had me check on it and make sure
Yeah.
like it
Yeah.
came intact and it wasn't all fucked up
Right.
from the delivery or
Right.
whatever. So I opened it up and there's this letter from one of the band members,
Body Bag Daryl,
Yeah.
the guitarist,
Yeah.
the original guitarist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and so I was stoked for one that you had that note, and I read it. I mean, it's handwritten
Mhm.
and everything. I think he even said Rich in it, didn't it, or
Yeah.
something?
Yeah.
Like,
He said thanks for uh buying this he just had like a whole bunch of these laying around
Yeah.
that
getting a
he's
little.
had I think it was over the pandemic. I think it was.
I think
wasn't
so.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit was like a lot slower.
Right.
People weren't playing
Right.
and stuff. And I think he was just getting a little,
Mhm.
trying to get a little extra money and stuff.
Yeah, and that was it. Big long letter saying thanks for the purchase, and obviously it came overseas, and
Yeah.
I had to pay a little extra on shipping and stuff. But hey, I mean, to me, it was worth it.
Yeah,
and he was like, sorry about the shipping, but it's I mean,
and he seemed really, really cool.
He
Like,
was.
really cool guy.
Yeah, and he threw in a guitar pick,
Yeah.
signed
Mhm.
guitar pick too.
Yeah, that was the other
And
thing. I was
stuff.
like, dude, you got pics that are signed? And
Yeah.
It was awesome.
It was awesome. Then even afterwards, he shot me an email and said, "Hey, if there's, he even was talking about the band and stuff,
Yeah.
about what happened. I guess they had issues with their drummer
Yeah.
and stuff, and that's what it was. But cool dude.
Yeah,
that
that
was
is so awesome.
That
man.
was just a highlight.
That's like any
for
type
me.
of fan of this stuff. That just goes to show what being a fan of this genre of music. It's not like the mainstream pop music where you got to pay $1,000 to meet somebody or even look in their fucking direction.
Right.
These guys are really down to earth, and
Mhm.
it's more about what they're doing instead of the money.
Yeah.
The message that they give out in their songs, and the way that they do, they just are so just down to earth. I mean, real quick, I'll just tap into this, like Extermination Dismemberment.
Yeah.
The lead singer was at his merch table, thanking everybody for buying the merch and just being there.
And the guitarist was there too,
Yeah.
and they were taking pictures and
Yep.
just and that's what a lot of, I think, even a lot of the bands, some of the band members were at the merch table.
Yeah.
Too. I mean, it's just,
it's cool to see that, and
you don't have to pay hundreds of bucks just to meet these guys.
Yeah.
They're
and little do they know, as a fan, that's like huge to us.
Oh, yeah.
Like to them, it's just like, oh yeah, like they don't really realize that, like how awesome that is, that they're at the tables and like we can meet these guys and meet the band members and stuff like that. And it's just really cool that he wrote you that handwritten letter.
Oh yeah, it was just really great. And that was my number 6.
All right, my number 6 is Devourment, Butcher of the Week.
Oh yeah.
2005. They formed in 1995. They're an OG.
Oh yeah.
Slam, man. They're classic fucking slam. They're from Dallas, Texas, actually, so that's cool too. Ruben Rosas, the vocalist, man, he's brutal.
Yeah.
When we seen him in the show, man, his stage presence is so fucking badass and everything. And he got the pit going so like very quickly. I mean,
yeah.
And this album, I've always loved this album. It's got the classic songs on it. Fucking Baby Killer.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Masturbating at the Slab. Fuck Her Head Off. Of course, Butcher of the Week.
Yeah.
Serial Cocksucker. I mean, the whole fucking album is just perfect.
Oh yeah.
Molesting the Decapitated is a badass album also from them. It was a toss up between the two.
Yeah.
And I love that album cover also, the decapitated dude.
Right.
And this album cover is just it's badass. It's just like a creature thing.
Yeah. I know.
With a couple like other creatures kind of crawling up them. And it's got like yellow lightning in the background. It's a pretty badass cover too. But this overall, the album was my favorite album.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that definitely, that is a great album.
Yeah, man. So that's my number 6.
Awesome. Number 5 for me is Visceral Disgorge.
Hell yeah.
Ingesting Putridity.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Their first album, 2011. I know you and I share a real love for this band.
Yes, for sure.
Travis vocals. I mean, we mentioned it, on one of the other podcasts about,
Yep.
seeing them live and there when we went up to Detroit,
Yep.
see him and stuff. But great album, and I don't know about you, but I don't even think there's a bad track on this album.
No, whole album. This is the thing with Visual Discord is they a lot of their songs sound alike, which I don't have a problem with.
Yeah.
But you can literally put it at any, if you're listening to the full album on YouTube or something, you could put it anywhere and it sounds like it's just coming off the same track,
Yeah.
Which is, I don't care, man. That shit's so brutal. Like the whole album is just, I mean, if that shit don't get you pumped, I don't know what will.
Right. Some of the tracks, I mean, right off the force-fed shredded genitalia, yeah. Strangled and Sodomized is a good one. Sedated and Amputated is one of Ball Gagged and Gutted. And then, of course, you got the skull fucking neonatal necrosis. Yeah.
Necrosis or something.
Yeah. But awesome album.
Yeah. I actually got the skull fucking neonatal necrosis shirt from you because you bought it at that show.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a real brutal ass shirt and everything. It says it on the back and has the it's like a naked woman with like babies hanging out of her and shit. Yeah. And it's brutal shit,
Yeah, it is.
that song's awesome, dude. The whole album. Yeah, that's awesome that you had it on there. We definitely do share the love for that.
Yeah. That's one of our, like I said, we share a love for Visceral Disgorge for sure.
Hell yeah, man. That's your number 5?
Yep.
My number 5 is Extermination Dismemberment.
Oh, hell yeah.
Serial Herbicide.
Yep. That's
2013. The band formed in 2009. They're from Belarus. I don't know the where at in there, it's overseas, so it's kind of complicated. They don't really it's not as easy as just saying a town and a state necessarily.
Right.
But Victor, the vocalist, dude, I mean, like you said earlier when we were talking about the show we went to, he's just amped up, man. He gets the crowd going, gets the pits fucking roaring. Yep. He's a brutal ass dude, and I love his accent. He's just a brutal ass dude,
Yeah.
He kind of reminds me a lot of Travis from Visual Discord.
Yeah.
Just he looks like him a little too.
Yeah. I mean,
he's got
wears that ball cap.
Yeah, he's got the cut off on and stuff.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
He reminds me a lot of him.
Yeah.
And it was. I don't know, man. I'm glad that we got to see them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I said, that was for me. That I mean, I loved the whole thing, but to me, seeing them. That just really put it up over the edge, and just his stage presence, how he holds the mic and he's got his elbows he's just fucking dude. Cranking down, it's just badass.
And the album, the songs that are, I mean, the whole album is great. My favorite songs are Disemboweled Engorgement, Human Holocaust, Bloodbath, Reusing, I think is how you would pronounce it. And the cover is like a creature ripping apart bodies all over the ground. He's got it's gory as fuck. It's pretty. It's a badass cover.
Right.
Out of all these, there's so many covers that are just super fucking brutal. This one,
it is. Yeah.
This one's brutal, and it's not like Gorgasm or Amagordas where it's fucked up,
right,
but it's definitely a badass album cover, so So yeah, man, that's my number 5.
That's awesome. Yeah, number 4 for me is Waking the Cadaver. Perverse Recollections of the Necromangler.
Hell yeah.
First studio album, 2007. New Jersey band,
Yep.
here in the States. I love it when we have, we have brutal slam right here in America. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yep.
Like I love it. I mean, I really, appreciate the overseas stuff, but it's always fun to know
Yeah.
that there's bands here in America that we can
Yeah,
beat.
that are just as brutal, you know.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. And uh, they formed in 2006, and I didn't know if you knew this or not, but they're originally called Death to Honor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you know
Yep.
that?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm glad they went with Waking the
Yeah.
Cadaver.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
sounds
For
more
sure.
brutal,
Yeah.
but it is cool. Uh, some of the songs, some of the tracks on there, Raped, Pillaged, and Gutted, Connoisseurs of Death. That's one of my favorite. And of course, you got Chase Through the Woods.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's iconic in itself because
Yeah.
it's the shredded wheat.
Yeah. Yeah. If you guys don't know about the shredded wheat, his vocals in Chase Through the Woods by a Rapist, it sounds like a lot of the time it sounds like he's saying shredded wheat. And people, had an uproar about it and give him shit about it and stuff. So that's where that comes from. It's kind of like an inside joke about Waking the Cadaver and shit.
Right. And Don Capan vocals, I mean, it sounds like he's like gargling nails.
Yeah.
It literally sounds like he's just gargling. I don't know any other way to explain it. It's just gargling.
He's literally has, out of all of these bands that I'm going to say tonight, he's got my favorite vocals.
Yeah,
like I love anytime that I'm going to start listening to just music in general. Chase Through the Woods by the Rapist is the first song I put on.
Yeah.
And his vocals and just the way that the riffs flow with it and everything, dude, it is the most brutal shit. I can't get enough of it. And yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And they're even new albums brutal as hell too, man.
Yeah.
I love their new album.
Yep. It was, at the time, it was one of the brutalest albums that came out in a long time.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, that was your number 4.
Yep.
Well, I knew that at some point in this we would come to a point where we had the same fucking band, because mine is Waking the Cadaver also. But mine is Authority Through Intimidation. And the only reason why, I mean, don't get, like, I love this fucking album, but my favorite songs are Chase Through the Woods by a Rapist and Blood Splattered Satisfaction, but they must have threw that on that album because they were like a demo tracks. They released just the 2 songs. And I love those fucking songs, but Authority Through Intimidation is fucking badass.
It's their latest album.
Yeah, it came out in 2021.
Yeah.
Like you said, I won't get too into it, but you said they formed in 2006 from New Jersey. Did you know that they had like 10 past members?
No, I did not know that.
It's like, and Don, the vocalist that you're talking about, he's the oldest one. Like, he's been in there pretty much the whole time. But yeah, man, it's badass fucking album, and it's some new slam,
Yeah. I remembered when we got it, and I mean, it stayed in my CD player a long time, and we even talked about it. This is like the most brutal shit that's been out since in a while.
Even maybe to date. I mean, I can't think of
really
a slam album that came out within the past 2 years that competed with it. So
yeah. And I mean, his vocals are iconic, like if there's ever a vocalist that you can pick out in brutal slam, it's his, because it's just the way he, I have never heard anybody sound like that before.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, man, that's my number 4.
Okay. Number 3 for me is Cerebral Incubation.
Fuck yeah.
Fixating on excrement. Excrement. 2009 first studio album.
Yep.
One of my favorite cover. You
Yeah.
know, it's got the hacked up
Yeah, it's
chick
like
in
dismembered.
in this barrel, this trash can barrel,
like
on
a
the
burn
beach.
barrel kind of thing.
Like a burn barrel thing on the beach, and
Yeah.
you know the beach is all polluted and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But yeah,
That is a sick ass album, man.
Yeah. Great album. Gastrointestinal Rape, the title track, it's also good. Dilation and Evacuation of a Fetal Demise, it's awesome. It's my favorite album from them. I mean, they have their stuff's really good, but that's my favorite.
I dig the band overall. Like all their shit is just so fucking. I'm not going to spoil nothing, but they definitely are an amazing band.
Right. Yeah, it's there's I mean, you can't go wrong with really any of their albums.
Yeah, no, and they're I don't know why I haven't said much about this throughout this thing, but like a lot of these songs or a lot of these bands have like funny ass intros and brutal intros, and Cerebral Incubation is one of the ones that have like intros to their songs that are just fucking hilarious or brutal,
Yeah, and that just like we talked about on the death metal thing, it just enhances the whole
makes the mood, makes it hit harder,
gets you into it for sure. So that's my number 3.
My number 3 is Human Barbecue.
Oh yeah,
Basement Butchery. It's actually an EP.
Yeah,
came out in 2017. The band formed in 2015, and they're from Belgium.
Okay.
It only has 2 members. So their drums are like programmed drums.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the vocalist also does guitar, and so does Rory. He does the guitars also and bass.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, Human Barbecue is fucking brutal as fuck.
Yeah, there's another one. They're another band that should have made my list.
Fucking Gutted to Death, Bone Crusher. Some tracks from the album. It's just, man, so fucking brutal. Like they're, one of those, like I've said, man, one of the bands you can just throw on, or I personally can just throw on and just listen to, on a fucking Joyride to Church kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, really. Yeah. It's sort of your intro music coming in a church.
Yeah. Definitely. It's an EP, like I said, so it's only like a 10-minute long thing, but it's 10 minutes of just pure fucking insanity and brutal slams and just, if this shit don't get your fucking head rocking, I don't know what will.
Right. So. Absolutely. Yep. So that was your number 3?
Yep.
Number 2 for me is Devourment, Molesting the Decapitated.
Hell yeah.
Love this album. It's their first studio album, 1999. Actually, their Butcher of the Week, their second album, was hailed at the time as to many as the most brutal album in death metal. They say death metal is
Butcher of the Week.
Yeah, Butcher of the Week. Yeah,
hell yeah, man.
Yeah, when it came out and stuff. That's an awesome album too.
It is. That made my list. It was fucking badass.
Yeah, and you talk Ruben's vocals.
Yeah.
Awesome gutturals and great stage presence. Some of my favorite tracks on there, Festering, Vomitous Mass, Postmortal Coprophagia. I think that's how you say it. Like I said,
we're gonna be we're not fucking doctors, all right?
We don't. Yeah, we're self disembowelment, Fuck to Death. That's one of their popular ones that they play.
Yeah,
and stuff. But that's and I mean, like you said before, I mean, these they're OGs
Yeah.
of death or
This was
brutal
when
slam.
shit was slam was starting really.
Mm-hmm.
They're one of the like forefathers of slam, you could say.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah, they're definitely had to make the list. I mean,
Oh yeah.
they're so iconic that it's almost impossible not to have them in your top 10.
Yep. Yep. That was my number 2.
All right, my number 2 is visceral disgorge, ingesting putridity. Like
Awesome.
that was on your list, wasn't
it? Yeah, it was number 5 on mine.
I'm gonna touch base real quick. Came out in 2011. Band formed in 2007. They're from Baltimore, Maryland. Travis, we've talked about his vocals and how brutal he is, and how much our love for this band. And like you said, force-fed shredded genitalia. Yep. Ball gagged and gutted. I mean, I think, was it force-fed shredded genitalia where like halfway through the song it's like, tonight you will get your dick ripped off?
Yeah, I think is that
the track?
I think that's I think it's that or strangled and sodomized.
Could be. I can't remember.
It's been a while since
it's
been a minute since I listened to that.
But they also have some, just the riffs and everything. I'm not going to get too much into it since you already did, but it's definitely check Visceral Disgorge out. If you're into this, if you're into this shit at all, they're such a fucking great band. And I don't know if you said it or not, but we can let the listeners know they had the same fucking album, their first album, for 10 years.
Oh yeah, they only have 2 albums.
Yeah. Until and then they came out with their second one recently, within the past few years. So
yep, yeah, and their second album's great too.
Yeah,
I mean, I prefer their
for sure. The first one's definitely,
but their second one's great too.
Hell yeah, man. That's my second.
All right,
down to the
here we are. Number one for me is Cranium.
Fuck yeah, man.
The Art of Female Sodomy.
Cranium, dude. They're
another OG.
Yeah.
They've
been around.
This one is their 2009 second studio album. And they're from Norway.
Hell yeah.
The twin brothers had formed the group, Mats and Martin Foundered. I think that's how you say it. Like I said, I think I'm butchering it up, but Matt's actually, he passed away in 2017.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
And they're twin, I don't know if I said that before, but they're twins. Yeah. Jack Christensen is the vocalist that's on the album.
Okay.
Which is, it's, awesome. Another, about album covers. This one's, I don't know if you remember this one or not. It's got it's got this chick laid out, she's naked and everything, and it's got this stump up her. Yeah. So it's I mean that's one of the tracks, severed stump, fist fuck.
Yeah.
There you go. Human flesh devourment, masturbation with fermented entrails.
Hell yeah.
Stench of putrid innards.
Yeah. So brutal.
Great.
Man. It's awesome.
It's great album. Yep.
Yeah.
And that's I mean that's I guess that's what I got to say about that.
Yeah, dude.
They're good.
They are great, man. They've done a lot of split stuff too, and that's badass with a couple other bands. That's the other thing about these bands. They do a lot of splits together, and it's just so fucking badass buying an album, because you can buy a split and you get like 4 different bands on it, and so it's kind of cool being able to like listen to a variety of bands when you're playing something, playing a CD or whatever. So yeah, man. Cranium, they didn't make mine, and they should have. They're definitely an icon for this shit, know. So
I mean, they didn't, they weren't, I guess they didn't get started later on in the thing, but I mean, they've really made themselves a name in the brutal slam
for world. Sure. Yeah. I mean, they're not like Devourment old or anything, but if you're talking about slam to somebody who actually listens to slam and knows the genre, they're probably gonna know Cranium. For sure.
Yeah, it's just like if death metal, Cannibal Corpse.
Yeah, it's like Cannibal
Corpse
Corpse
like
kind of.
Devourment and Cranium. They're like that. They're the the words, the bands that everybody's heard of from Brutal Slam. So
hell yeah, dude. My number one is Cerebral Incubation, Bifurcation of Primordial Slamatures.
Yeah.
Hopefully I said that good. 2017, man. Band formed in 2007. They're from Las Vegas, Nevada. Dude, my fucking all-time favorite. I love this fucking album so much. It was in my fucking van, aka the Slam van, for a long ass time, dude. I love this shit. Some of the tracks I like are Gargling Gelatinous Menstruation. It's the song where she's like, I hope you die in a bottle of diarrhea, and then it goes into
it goes into that shit.
And my favorite song, Force Fed Smegma Spread, where my dick, I'm gonna put my dick in your vag. Shit. This band is like my all-time favorite with the intros, man. Every song has like a fucking crazy intro that just like I said, that Force Fed Smegma Spread, that shit is so fucking funny. If you guys want to listen to that shit and let me know in the comments what you think of it, it's hilarious. The dude's just like, my dick, I'm fixing the fucks, and then it goes into like a brutal ass riffs, and just the gutturals and the fucking vocals of the shit are just brutal as fuck. Like it doesn't get much better than that for me. This album is fucking genius. I love it. If I talk to anybody, if anybody shows, which not too many people do, but if this would be the first album that I recommend to anybody, because it has like a variety of the intros that we like with the slam. It's got the fucking riffs are just slammy as fuck, groovy as fuck. It's like the perfect album to me to tell somebody about, to start getting them to listening to what we listen to and shit.
Yeah, that's definitely a great album. And that one, and Asphyxiating, those are my two favorite albums. But it was just crazy how we didn't have a whole. What was it? Just Visceral Discord. It's the only album that we had together on that, and I think that's awesome because it just shows a great versatility of what we listen to in the slam.
And it's also great that we can. The listeners can hear different variety of bands,
bands, and
it's. I'm actually kind of surprised. In a way, I'm surprised that there wasn't more, because we're just so like our minds are just like connected in a fucking weird way, to where like we both dig pretty much the same things, But it was cool hearing the differences and stuff. So I love doing this shit with you, because it's like definitely the top 10s are something I enjoy doing with you, because it's cool seeing the differences or similarities with our band choices.
Right. Yeah. It's. I was super excited to do this, because it's just even more excited than the death metal one, because I knew we were more on the same page.
Yeah, as far as death metal, I think we're pretty much hand in hand with our death metal, the way our lists and everything like that.
Yeah.
So,
but it with the Brutal Slam though, it's just I don't know if it's. I think there's just, to me anyway, I don't know if it just that way, or if it just seems like that to me. Like there's more bands that there's a lot out there.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of death metal bands out there, but our likes with the bands and albums are kind of all together, and this is just kind of all over the place.
Yeah,
You know what I
it's
mean?
kind of surprising on how as like underground as slam is. It's kind of surprising how many bands there actually are,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And
Mm-hmm.
it's cool, it's badass. I mean, these are really the types of dudes that, you know, it's not about the money, it's just what they love to do. And I'm 100% down to support that, you know, regardless of anything. You know, these guys are some of the most realist people that you'll meet,
Oh yeah.
hands down, and they express it through their music in their own way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just great hearing the way that they express themselves, or just express, you know, their anger, or express, you know, the way that they think the world is, or, you know, it's brutal, man. It's awesome. It's definitely
Yeah.
an escape for me. I know it's an escape for you.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Absolutely.
just music in general, you know, is just a huge escape for the both of us. So it's really cool that we get to go to the shows, and it's really cool. I know I said it earlier, that these bands come from all the way from overseas just to play in some little dinky ass venues, you know.
Yep.
And I'm glad that we can support them by buying their merch, and just being in pits for them, and, you know, doing the wall of deaths, and just,
Right.
you know, really getting into their music. And I'm glad that there's a decent amount of fans out there that is enabling them to be able to do it.
Yeah. I think this tour, this slam tour of the year, I think that just it spoke words. I mean,
Yeah,
it was the almost every show was sold out,
yeah,
and that speaks volumes
yeah, it
of
does.
like, hey, we want to see this shit
Yeah,
here.
we want lineups like this. We
Yep.
want, you know, shows like this. Just keep giving it to us. You know, if I really hope that these sold out shows just, you know, whoever, you know, books the shows and stuff, I
Mm-hmm.
hope that they're like, damn, fucking America, hell
Right.
yeah, you know,
Yeah.
let's fucking go there. They're brutal, you know.
Mm-hmm.
The engagement with the fans was fucking ridiculously crazy,
It
you
was.
know.
Yeah.
And I want that to stick with these motherfuckers, you know. I want to see them. I want, because, you know, we can't, all the fans, you know, most fans, we can't go overseas and see these
Oh,
guys, you
right.
know.
Right.
So
Yeah.
um so it's cool that they can give us that opportunity to meet the OGs and see these guys before, you know. So
Yeah. Yeah. It's just I loved it. The list, it was just so versatile in all the bands and everything. And I know the bands I list in the albums, I know you've listened to them, and I've listened to the ones that you
yep,
have on your list and stuff. And we have a great love of this genre of music. And um I just it was just really great doing this with you.
yeah, I agree, man. If I want to do a quick reminder, you know, you can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Spotify, Facebook. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. We greatly appreciate that shit.
Yeah.
Um, anything else you want to say?
I just want to say something. Hey, you guys out there, keep fucking supporting metal.
Hell yeah, man. And get hip or rot. Peace out, guys.